Hey folks, and welcome back to another episode of Upcoming Games on the Rated R Show. This week, July 2020 edition. Now, I know July just started a little over a week ago, and you're probably wondering why we didn't release that episode already. Well, that's because last week I was speaking to the developers of Duru, and we wanted to get that out at the beginning of their Kickstarter, which just started last week. I think it was right the day before we released the episode. So as of recording, they've already hit 38% of their goal, which is awesome. We're hoping that they will actually be able to meet that goal. And the game itself, Duru, it's a 2D platformer that aims to teach people without depression a little bit about what it's like or what it can be like for someone who's battling that particular issue, and hopes to impart some ideas on how you can support that friend or loved one that finds themselves afflicted with depression. You can check out the links in the description to see our interview with them and also their Kickstarter so that you can go support them should that be something you're interested in. And on a personal note, I'd say I think that is kind of a worthy cause, it's a video game that you can play and have some fun with, but it's also a way to hopefully get some extra knowledge out there to help people out. So, yes, I'm here alone again. But, believe it or not, there is a good reason for that. Bam and G had a pretty interesting interview with some developers and a CEO working on some things that you may have seen or heard us talk or play around with before, and they've been diligently refining the script and re-recording the bits to try and polish it up for your eyeballs and ear holes. So hopefully I can kick them in the rear to finally release the damned thing and get them back to working on the regular bits of the show so you aren't stuck just seeing my ugly mug all the time. Sorry. And with that, let's jump into the games that we have, or are going to release in July, at least as far as we know. Alright, first up is, on July 2nd, the Otterman Empire. So this one came out last week, and it's quoted as an intense quick-fire party shooter for 1 to 4 players. Now, there is a single-player campaign mode, but you can also play in 4-player teams, action like PvP style. Gear up and strap on your jetpacks, travel across the galaxy, causing havoc. This is pretty cute. I guess a bunch of otters in space shooting each other. The maps... everything I see, it's a cartoony shooter is really what it comes down to. It's third person. Think, I really don't want to say Fortnite in a way, but graphically, at least aesthetically, kind of like Fortnite. I don't think there are necessarily any of the same mechanics other than running around shooting people, but it's 4v4 teams. You can find this on PC, Xbox One, and Switch. As I said, the game already came out on the 2nd. It's $24.99 on PC. However, there is a sale going till the 9th of July. It's 10% off on Steam. And then it's $23.99 on console for the price that I could find. For those of you who stuck around or who've been around and seen some of our previous episodes on upcoming games, finding prices can be a little bit tricky because for whatever reason, they're not always listed on either the Steam or the other pages. When we do find when they're listed. So next up on the 9th of July is an interesting looking 2D platformer, kind of a Metroidvania, Castlevania kind of thing, Primal Light. Now this is going to be out for PC, Linux, and Mac OS. It's a 2D platformer. It's an action adventure kind of platformer. The graphics really kind of go back to like a Castlevania style. Kind of that dark muted tones. And in this, they say you inhabit Krog, a mysterious blue creature in a red loincloth, because you can't have your dork hanging out. Sorry, reference to heavy metal. Always think of that when I hear loincloth. But anyway, back to the game. As he traverses a labyrinth of ladders, levers, traps, and monsters. Explore the nooks and crannies of the bizarre and evocative world as you hack and slash your way to victory, leaving a graveyard of grotesque bosses in your wake. So, very, like I said, Castlevania style. If you like 2D platformers, this is something that maybe, up your alley to check out. Comes out on the 9th of July, and unfortunately I did not have a price for that one. Alright, on the 10th of July, this one is actually a a sequel. This is Bloodstained, Curse of the Moon, and again, this is going to be, this seems to be the month for these, I guess, but this is a Castlevania style, 2D side-scroller, action platformer. So Curse of the Moon 2 brings classic 2D action to the dark 8-bit aesthetic together with modern playability. Again, it's very Castlevania. So if you enjoy those kinds of titles, it's something that I think you'll enjoy. This should be on PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. The only price I did find was on the Switch, and that was $14.99 in American dollar dues. Not too bad a price, I would say, for something like this. I mean, $15 is the price of a movie, and I would expect you probably get more entertainment out of a 2D platformer like this. But the description of this is, players take control of Zangetsu, a swordsman from the Far East who bears a deep grudge against demonkind and the alchemists who summoned them. Zangetsu must battle his way to the demonic stronghold, but he doesn't have to do it alone. Zangetsu can ally himself with a brand new cast of characters he meets along the way and add them to the playable roster. So there are other characters that you'll get an opportunity to play as besides just the main character of Zangetsu. Yeah, so I don't know. This one looks pretty cool. There's something. It's probably the nostalgia thing. There's definitely something about these like Castlevania-esque games that I find very interesting and kind of fun to mess around with. But yeah, I guess it really depends on whether or not that's your thing. Next up on the 4th of July, Neon Abyss, another 2D platformer. This will be out on PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. Neon Abyss is a frantic roguelite action platformer where you run and gun your way into the abyss, featuring unlimited item synergies and a unique dungeon evolution system. Each run diversifies the experience, and every choice alters the rule set. If I had to come up with my own description for what this kind of looks and feels like, I would say if you took Borderlands with lots of neon colors, and made it a 2D platformer with all the options and made it like a roguelike dungeon runner, it almost seems kind of like that from what I'm seeing. Haven't played it yet myself, but it does look interesting. It does look kind of fun. But that's subjective. Again, if it it's a 2D platformer. So if 2D platformers are your thing, this could be pretty fun. This is, I'd say, looking at the game and how it's played, it feels like it's a kind of a mix between like a Castlevania and a Contra, but leaning more heavily on Contra. So if you mix Contra with Borderlands and lots of neon lights, there you go. Then on July 16th, game called Beyond a Steel Sky. This one is also a sequel. The first game was Beneath a Steel Sky. This will be for PC, Linux, and iOS, though G did put a note in the document for me here that says it was first released on the 26th of June on the Apple Arcade subscription service for iOS. So the Steam release date is the 16th of July. And yeah, a long-awaited sequel to Beneath the Steel Sky. You play as Robert Foster, and basically the setup for the story is that a child has been abducted in a brutal attack, and you're vowing to bring him home. So the trail leads you to Union City, one of the last remaining megacities in the world that's been ravaged by shattering wars and political meltdowns. Why does that sound familiar? Anyway, Union City is a utopia, though. The people are loving life under the control of an altruistic AI. Interesting. So when I looked at this, they do say it's a dramatic, humorous cyberpunk thriller, which is, got some engaging puzzles and, fast-paced narrative action and whatnot. But I will say when I looked at this, it kind of reminded me, at least first glance, of like Outer Worlds, Outer Wilds kind of thing. So if those games are the kind of games you enjoy, this third-person action adventure game might be up your alley. Again, it's out on the 16th of July, and unfortunately, I don't have a price for that one right now. All right, and next, same day, July 16th, is a game called Paws Soul. Now, this one's kind of neat. It won't be the first game that we've ever brought up or talked about that, mentions, the game mechanic is where you're playing as an animal. And in this, you play, it's an adventure game, third person. You've been reincarnated as this wolf, and basically you're exploring this quote-unquote mysterious forest and learning secrets about your past life. So seems like it kind of might be an interesting thing. Seems to be very narrative driven. I'm expecting probably some puzzle mechanics, possibly, but I don't know for sure. Again, these are all games that haven't come out, so I haven't actually gotten my hands on them yet. But visually the game looks really neat. A lot of dark colors with like neon lights and stuff like that. Even the wolf that you play as, is a very dark colored creature with like neon. It's not really runes. That wouldn't describe it very well, but lines that almost make me think of something like that. That'll be out on the 16th of July, and there is a demo or an intro that you can play if you want to check out the game before you buy it. Then following that up on the 17th of July is another one that's kind of a retro style game. The graphics themselves are not necessarily retro, where some of the earlier ones we talked about, the graphics might be a little more in line with what you would have expected back in the day. This definitely has some very updated graphics, and it's called AI. It releases on the 17th of July. It'll be out on PC. It's on Steam, and it's an action vertical scrolling shooter. Basically, it's if you remember like 1942, or I think was it Galaga, might have been the other one that I think I like reference back to with this kind of thing, where back in the old arcade type shooters where you were flying a plane, as the scenery would come scrolling down and your plane is flying through, you're like dodging all kinds of missiles and shots and energy weapons and everything else, while you're also flying around shooting at things on the screen. So this one I find real fun. I spent hours and hours playing those kinds of games. I don't know why though, because I'm not terribly good at them. I just had fun. I just liked the look of them, and I liked the way that they played. So there was something that was kind of fun about those. But, again, subjective. So maybe your thing, maybe not. And the next one. The next one had to go on the list because, if nothing else, the title is hilarious. So same day, July 17th, on Steam for PC, Counterpixel Go Gunstrike. This is, to me, just the name is hilarious, and that's part of what I love about the game. But it's it almost looks kind of like a blocky, almost cel-shaded game as far as the visuals go. But you're, playing it. Everything I've seen thus far, except for when you're zooming in, appears to be from third person. And it's, it's another one of these games where it's kind of like I almost want to say a zombie survival type game. I haven't been able to tell yet whether or not there's a lot of survival mechanics in it. It seems like there are some. They do list that there are supposed to be some survival mechanics in the game. But it, while self-described, is a shooter that combines all the best of the genre. Unique graphics, various characters, each with their own features. So you're playing in a city that basically has, or the city has survived after the apocalypse, but is still filled with zombies. You collect and get resources, make weapons, and build yourself some kind of shelter. So there's definitely some kind of survival mechanics in this. I don't know how heavy they are, but like I said, the name itself just seemed hilarious. It has single player, online PvP, LAN PvP, online and LAN co-op. I'd like to get some more details on exactly what that means, though. And I say that because I think a lot of games nowadays are listing that it has co-op and PvP. And the problem I have with most games using that description is their definition of co-op is it's what I would define as team PvP. So to me, co-op is not 4 versus 4 or 8 versus 8 or 2 versus 2. Yes, you are playing with another player, and at the very heart of the definition of co-op, you could say, yes, that's cooperative play. but ultimately it's really team PvP. Co-op play, at least for myself, has always been a game where you play cooperatively with other players against the AI, not against other players. Soapbox, I'll jump off that right now, but yes, Counterpixel Go Gunstrike out on July 17th. Jumping to July 21st, another game with what looks like a really cool sense of humor. Rock of Ages 3, also another sequel, Make and Break. Now, this one will be out on PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. It is, it's kind of interesting. It's kind of funny. The trailer for this game, which you'll see running in the background right now, but the trailer for it, if you could both hear and see it at the same time, because I know we mute the trailers quite a bit, is got a hilarious kind of almost Monty Python vibe to it. If you're as old as I am and you remember some of those movies, then and if you're not, go watch them, especially Monty Python and the Search for the Holy Grail. That movie is hilarious. Maybe the humor doesn't translate down to younger ages, I don't know, but at least check it out, give it a chance. But that being said, some of the scenes in between where they had almost like it was a story being told from out of the pages of a book, but certain things on the pages were moving. It's really hilarious like that. So that really caught my attention. I thought it was funny. But you make your own levels in Rock of Ages 3, and then they want you to go in and break everybody else's. So you're making these levels where you're playing as a rock or some form of object. I think I've seen a wheel of cheese and a few other things that roll down these hills, crash into things, breaking things apart. They list it as both action, racing, and strategy, so I guess there's a timed element in it to see how quickly you can destroy things. And that's just... you know what? If the trailer that's running by up there right now is not enough, definitely go check out the trailer for that. And if you like making levels, it's already built in, so go check it out, man. This could be, one of those fun ones that's fun to build stuff and try to destroy other people's levels, and I don't know. It seems like it could be a fun time. Maybe it'd be a fun time with more of a fun time when you're goofing around with people trying to break each other's levels, but it seems like there could be some hilarity inside of this game. And then the last game that we have on the list for this month is Destroy All Humans. Now you might be saying, wait a minute, Destroy All Humans, that's not a new game. No, it's not. This is like oh man, now I'm going to have a brain fart. It's a re-release, it's a remaster, it's an updated version of the game that they're re-releasing for current gen stuff. If you're familiar with the old Destroy All Humans game, that's what it is. If you're not, you get to terrorize the people of 1950s Earth in the role of an evil alien, harvest their DNA, and bring down the US government in a remake of the legendary Alien Invasion action-adventure. That's a mouthful, by the way. You get to annihilate puny humans using an assortment of alien weaponry and psychic abilities, reduce their cities to rubble with your flying saucer, and just general carnage and mayhem and destruction. It looks good. The remaster, at least as far as the visuals that I've seen, it does look cool. And I'm sure if you played this before and want to play it again, this could be a really cool update. If you missed out on it the first time around and this is something new to you, could be worth checking out. It's going to be $29.99 on PC from what I've seen thus far. Might be on a Steam sale right now. I'm not 100% certain because the Steam summer sales are still going on. At least they will be until I think the 9th. And $39.99 on console. And I'm going to say with that, I guess that wraps us up for the month of July. So, as always, we try to pick the top 10 games that caught our attention for this month. And, hopefully we brought something to your attention that you are interested in going and checking out. If you do check out any of these games, let us know. We'd like to know what you think about them. If we missed a game that you think we should have covered that's really interesting, also put a comment down there. Let us know. We're always on the lookout for games, especially indie games that we can list and things like this. We're trying to get attention to indie games as much as possible. And, if you made it this far, we greatly appreciate your listener and viewership. Leave us a comment. for those of you that are subscribed to our channel already, we greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much. And until next time, this has been Drac, and I'm out.